The picture-perfect life isn't always what it seems. From the outside, Emma's marriage to Liam appeared flawless, a loving husband, a charming home, and a future filled with promise. But behind closed doors, the cracks were beginning to show. I don't know how much longer I can take this, Anna. It's like every single day I lose a part of who I am. Emma, you need to tell me everything. What's been happening? You've been so distant lately, and honestly, I'm worried about you. Emma hesitated. The words were heavy in her chest, as if saying them out loud would make the pain even more real. It had started subtly at first, offhand comments from Margaret about Emma's cooking or her organizational skills. But soon, the remarks grew sharper, cutting into Emma's confidence like shards of glass. She said I wasn't good enough for her son. That Liam deserved someone better, someone who wasn't as fragile as me. That's unbelievable. Why would she say something like that? Liam loves you. Does he? Because lately I feel like he doesn't even see me anymore. Margaret's always whispering to him, planting seeds of doubt. And the worst part? He never defends me. He just sits there. The weight of Margaret's disapproval hung over every aspect of Emma's life. No matter how hard she tried to win her over, it was never enough. Every dinner feels like a test. Every conversation feels like a battle I'm destined to lose. It didn't help that Margaret had a way of twisting Liam's perception. She thrived on control, subtly planting doubts and pitting them against one another. Emma's a lovely girl, but she's just not used to how we do things in this family, Liam. Don't you think you could help her a little more? Guide her, maybe? Back in the present, Emma swallowed hard. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, Anna. Margaret tells Liam I'm not capable, and he's starting to believe her. Sometimes, I think I am too. You're not the problem, Emma. She's the one who's toxic, not you. Don't you dare let her make you feel like you're not good enough. Liam needs to wake up and see what's happening. Anna's words lingered in the air, but deep down, Emma wasn't sure she believed them. The image of Margaret's piercing gaze and Liam's silence echoed in her mind. Emma thought moving in with Margaret was temporary, a few months at most, until she and Liam could save enough for their own place. Instead, it felt like she'd been handed over to a prison warden who dictated the rules of her every waking hour. Emma, I don't mean to offend you, but the way you fold laundry is, well, it's not how we've always done it in this family. Liam grew up with a certain standard, and I think it's important to maintain that. I'll try to do it your way next time. Margaret's critiques were endless. From Emma's cooking to her cleaning habits, there was always something to fix, something that wasn't good enough. And about dinner tonight, there was too much salt in the soup. Liam doesn't like it when dishes are overly seasoned. You should ask me next time before deciding on a recipe. Emma felt her confidence erode with every passing day. No matter how hard she tried, Margaret seemed bent on reminding her that she didn't belong in this family. Margaret had a way of isolating Emma, even when Liam was in the room. You've always been so wonderful with numbers, darling. Remember when you used to help me balance the checkbook every Sunday? Those were the days. You never needed any help, not like others. Emma swallowed hard as Margaret continued talking, weaving tales of Liam's childhood as if Emma weren't even in the room. Why doesn't he ever defend me? Can't he see what she's doing? The tension between Emma and Liam began seeping into their marriage. She noticed him becoming distant, quieter, as though he were retreating into himself to avoid the uncomfortable dynamics. Do you think I'm a bad wife? Am I doing everything wrong? Of course not, Emma. You're amazing. It's just, Mom has certain expectations. She's set in her ways. And what about my ways, Liam? When do I get to matter? When do we get to matter? The cracks in their marriage widened as Margaret fueled the divide. Margaret's influence wasn't just limited to the household chores. She had a way of subtly twisting Liam's perspective on Emma, planting seeds of doubt with a smile. Emma's sweet, but she seems overwhelmed. Have you thought about stepping in more to guide her? You shouldn't have to carry so much responsibility. Emma couldn't ignore the growing distance anymore. Conversations with Liam felt stilted, as if Margaret's voice lingered in the background, twisting their words and intentions. It's like she's always there. Even when we're alone, I feel her presence between us. He's so afraid to disappoint her that he's forgetting about me. Emma knew she couldn't take much more. Margaret's rules weren't just about controlling the household, they were breaking her spirit. Liam sat alone, the silence of the house pressing down on him. The weight of his mother's words and Emma's hurt lingered like a storm cloud over him. He loved Emma deeply, but Margaret's presence was overpowering, her expectations impossible to escape. Why can't they just get along? Why does it feel like no matter what I do, someone's disappointed in me? You have no idea how to manage a household, Emma. Liam deserves better than this chaos. I'm trying, Margaret, but it's never enough for you. This wasn't the first time Liam had been caught between them. Each argument felt like a battle he couldn't win. Every time he tried to mediate, Margaret's disapproval weighed heavier than Emma's tears. Liam, you were raised to respect family traditions. I only want what's best for you, even if Emma can't see that. Her words planted seeds of doubt in Liam's mind. Was Margaret right? Was Emma struggling because she wasn't strong enough to handle their life together? He hated himself for even entertaining the thought. The next morning, Emma couldn't hide her frustration anymore. She watched Liam from across the breakfast table, her coffee untouched. Do you ever just hear me, Liam? Or is it her voice that echoes in your head every time we argue? That's not fair, Emma. You know how much I care about you. I'm just torn? Stuck in the middle? How long are you going to use that excuse? Her voice cracked, the bitterness in her words betraying her pain. She wasn't just angry, she was desperate for him to understand, to fight for her. I married you, Liam. Not your mother. But sometimes it feels like she's the real woman in this marriage. This isn't easy for me either, Emma. She's my mom. She raised me, and now she's tearing us apart. Can't you see that? The silence that followed was louder than their argument. Liam left the room, his footsteps echoing down the hallway. Emma stayed behind, staring into the untouched coffee, her mind racing. I don't know how much more I can take. I'm losing him, and I think he's already lost himself. That evening, Margaret seized the opportunity to tighten her control further. She found Liam alone in the study, her voice gentle but laced with manipulation. I know you're under a lot of pressure, dear. Emma means well, but maybe she isn't ready for this kind of responsibility yet. You've always been so strong, Liam. It's not your fault she's struggling. Margaret's words weren't outright cruel, they were calculated, designed to sound supportive while sowing doubt. Liam nodded faintly, unsure what to say. That night, Emma waited for Liam to come to bed, but he didn't. Instead, she found him in the study, his head bowed over his hands like a man carrying the weight of the world. Liam, you don't have to let her do this to us. We can fight back. Together. He looked up, his eyes filled with guilt and uncertainty. I don't know if I can, Emma. She's my mom. She's always been the puppet master. But you don't have to be her puppet anymore. The atmosphere in Margaret's dining room was lively, but Emma felt like an outsider. Her heart beat faster as she anticipated Margaret's next move. There was always something waiting, some subtle jab that would leave her bruised inside. Margaret turned to Emma, her voice cutting through the room like a blade concealed in velvet. Emma, dear, I've been meaning to ask. Liam tells me you're still struggling to keep up with the housework. I know it's a lot, but surely by now you've learned how to manage things better. It's not times hard, right? The silence was deafening, broken only by Margaret's forced chuckle. Oh, don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying these things because I care. Liam deserves someone who can truly support him. Emma's chest tightened, her breath shallow as humiliation engulfed her. She glanced at Liam, silently pleading for him to step in, to say something. Asterisk anything. Asterisk. Please, Liam, don't let her do this. Not here, not like this. But Liam avoided her eyes, his gaze fixed on his plate as though the food held the answers to every difficult question. Emma felt her stomach drop. Margaret, with all due respect, I'm doing my best. This isn't easy for me. Margaret tilted her head, her expression exaggerated with mock concern. Oh, I'm sure you are, dear. Maybe you just need more time, or perhaps some guidance? Emma couldn't take it anymore. She stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. Excuse me. The room fell silent as she walked away, her footsteps echoing down the hallway. Emma felt her world crumbling. The weight of Margaret's words, combined with Liam's silence, was unbearable. She pulled out her phone with trembling hands and typed a message to Anna. I need to get out of here. Can I stay with you tonight? Moments later, Anna appeared, her arm gently looping through Emma's. I've got you. Let's go. They drove in silence, the city lights streaking across Emma's tear-stained face. You don't deserve this, Emma. You know that, right? Margaret's toxic, and Liam isn't stepping up. You're always strong for everyone else. But who's being strong for you? Emma stared out the window, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know, Anna. I thought Liam would fight for me. For us, but it feels like I'm losing him. Anna tightened her grip on the steering wheel, her voice fierce yet comforting. You're not losing anything worth keeping. If Liam doesn't realize what he has in you, that's on him. But I promise, you'll never have to fight this battle alone. That night, Emma curled up on Anna's couch, the blanket wrapped tightly around her as if it could protect her from the storm raging in her life. Is this the end? Or is this the beginning of something new? As the clock ticked forward, Emma knew one thing for certain: she deserved more than silence. She deserved love, respect, and someone willing to fight for her. The morning light brought little clarity, but it offered Emma a moment to breathe. After a night of restless sleep, she felt a quiet strength growing within her, fueled by Anna's unwavering support. Listen, Emma, I know you're exhausted, and I can't even begin to imagine how heavy this has been for you, but I've known you for years, and if there's one thing I know about you, it's that you're stronger than this. Emma set the mug down on the table, her hands trembling slightly. But what if I'm not? Every day Margaret finds a new way to tear me apart. And Liam, he just stands there. I thought he'd fight for me. I thought he'd see how much I'm giving up just to make this work. Emma, you can't keep waiting for him to act. He's trapped in her web, I get it. But that doesn't mean you have to be. You're allowed to stand up for yourself. You times need times too. Emma lifted her head slightly, a faint glimmer of determination in her eyes. But how, Anna? How do I even begin to stand up to someone like her? She's got Liam wrapped around her finger, and every time I try to speak up, she shuts me down. Anna leaned back, crossing her arms. Her face softened, but her voice remained firm. By showing her that she doesn't own you, you don't have to be cruel or stoop to her level. But you times have to draw a line. And don't forget, Margaret's behavior isn't about you. It's about times her asterisk, her insecurities, her control issues. You standing up for yourself might actually be the wake-up call she needs. And if it's not, well, then you'll know who really has your back in all this. Somewhere across town, a very different conversation was unfolding. You need to stop, Mom. This isn't about Emma, and we both know it. Margaret turned, her expression sharp. I don't know what you're talking about. I've done nothing but try to help. She's the one who doesn't appreciate it. She's tearing this family apart. Claire took a step closer, her voice calm but firm. She's not the one tearing this family apart. You are. And you've been doing it for years. You did it with me. You made me feel like I'd never be enough, no matter what I did. And now you're doing the same thing to her. Margaret's hand froze mid-stir. For a moment, she looked at Claire, her eyes flashing with a mix of anger and something else, something even Margaret herself couldn't quite grasp. I only want what's best for my children. I raised you both. I sacrificed so much, but you don't own us. You can't keep trying to control our lives just because you're afraid of being left behind. You're pushing us away, Mom. You're pushing Liam times away. Is that what you want? For the first time, Claire's words seemed to land. Margaret's shoulders slumped, her next words coming out softer. I don't want to lose my family. I've already lost so much. Claire's expression softened, but her voice remained steady. You're not losing anyone, Mom, but you have to let us live our lives. You have to let them live their lives. Emma's not your enemy. She's your family now. Meanwhile, back at Anna's apartment, Emma stood at the window, staring out into the city as if searching for a sign. Can I really face her? Can I make Liam see what this is doing to us? Start by writing down what you want to say. Everything. Get it all out. You've been holding it in for too long. Thanks, Anna, for everything. I don't know what I'd do without you. You'd survive. You always do. But I'm here, no matter what. For the first time, there was a shift. Almost imperceptible but undeniable. The cracks in the family's foundation were widening. Yes, but perhaps, just maybe, they were making room for something new to grow. Emma stood in the doorway, her heart pounding like a distant drum. She had rehearsed this moment in her head 100 times, but now that she was here, the weight of the confrontation pressed on her chest. She inhaled sharply, stepping further inside. We need to talk. Oh, about what now? Is this going to be another one of your complaints, Emma? Emma clenched her fists at her sides, forcing herself to stay calm. It's not a complaint. It's the truth. And I need you to hear it, Margaret, for once. All right, go ahead. Let's hear what you've been bottling up. Emma's voice trembled at first, but she steadied it, her eyes locking onto Margaret's. You've made it clear from the start that you don't think I'm good enough for Liam. You criticize everything I do, how I clean, how I cook, how I live my life. Nothing is ever enough for you. Do you know what that's like? To feel like you're constantly being judged in your own home? To feel like you're an outsider in your own family? I've only ever done what's best for this family. If you can't handle a little constructive criticism, that's not my fault. Emma let out a bitter laugh. The sound surprising even herself. Constructive? No, Margaret. It's control. You want to control everything. My life, my marriage, Liam. I'm his mother. I know what's best for him. And frankly, Emma, I've seen the cracks in your marriage. Maybe if you focused on being a better wife, you wouldn't have so many problems. The words hit like a slap, but Emma refused to back down. And maybe if you respected boundaries, we wouldn't have these problems. You don't see it, do you? You're tearing us apart. You're hurting your son, your family, and you don't even realize it. Don't you dare put this on me. Liam is my son. I've sacrificed everything for him. You think you can just waltz in here and take him away from me? Emma's voice broke, the raw emotion spilling out. I'm not taking him away. I want us to be a family. But you need to let him go, Margaret. He's not a little boy anymore. He's a man. And he's my husband. I love him. But I won't keep living like this. Enough. Both of you. Mom, Emma's right. This has gone too far. I've allowed it to go on because I didn't want to hurt you. But I can't do this anymore. I won't let you treat her like this. No, Mom. Listen to me. Emma is my wife, my partner, And if you can't respect her, then you don't respect me either. I only wanted to protect you, Liam, I thought. I know, Mom. I know you love me. But this isn't love. This is control. And it's hurting us. I need you to trust me to make my own choices. We're not trying to push you out of our lives, but we need space. We need to start our own life together without all this constant tension. I'll think about it. The morning felt different. It wasn't just the sunlight streaming through the windows. It was the sense of relief that settled in the air. It wasn't over. Not by a long shot. But for the first time in months, there was a sense of hope. Do you really think we're doing the right thing, moving out? I do. I know it won't fix everything right away, but it's a start. We need this, Emma. You need this. We deserve to build our life on our terms. Emma reflected on how far they had come. The arguments, the tears, the nights spent wondering if their love could survive the storm. But something had shifted within Liam after their confrontation with Margaret. He had stepped up, finally recognizing the strength it took for Emma to face his mother, and he wanted to meet her halfway. Moving out wasn't easy. Margaret had always been a pillar in Liam's life, and the idea of putting even the smallest distance between them was foreign to him. But Liam knew it was necessary for himself, for Emma, and even, though he wouldn't admit it yet, for his mother. Across town, Margaret was wrestling with emotions she didn't fully understand. For the first time, her son, her Liam, had stood up to her. The words he'd spoken replayed in her mind on an endless loop. This isn't love. This is control. She hadn't meant to hurt him or Emma. But perhaps, in her fear of losing him, that's exactly what she'd done. I just wanted to protect you. Did I go too far? For Emma, leaving Margaret's house wasn't just about physical space. It was a declaration of her worth. She realized that setting boundaries wasn't selfish, it was essential. And while the wounds Margaret had inflicted wouldn't heal overnight, Emma was ready to focus on the life she and Liam were creating together. It's not much, but it's ours. That's all that matters to me. It's perfect. And we'll make it even better. Together. Of course, there were still challenges to face. Margaret wasn't the kind of woman to change overnight. There were moments when she called Liam, her voice sharp and demanding, asking questions about their new life that felt more like interrogations. But Liam held firm, reassuring his mother while maintaining the boundaries he and Emma had set. There were also moments of progress. Margaret began to reflect more deeply on her relationship with her own mother, the pain she had carried from her past, and how she had unknowingly let that pain shape her relationship with her son and daughter. It was Claire's words, sharp and unyielding, that had finally pierced through. You think you're protecting Liam, but you're just pushing him away. Mom, if you care about him, you'll let him breathe. You'll let him love without making him choose. Emma's phone buzzed on the counter as she poured herself a cup of tea. Seeing the message from Margaret, she paused, reading it twice before replying. Thank you, Margaret. We're doing well. I hope you're okay too. It wasn't perfect. The wounds were still fresh, and there were no guarantees. But it was a step forward, and sometimes that was enough. Love, when tested, has the power to break us or to make us stronger. Emma and Liam learned that the key to growing stronger together was setting boundaries and respecting each other as equals. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but it begins with a single step, a step toward love, understanding, and hope.